This is a short review of the book Fast Like a Girl by Dr. Mindy Pelz. This is a summary from the book club that we had last month with my classmates in IIN. It's intended for my classmates to see, but I'm putting it online public in case my classmates want to share it, or you can maybe also benefit from it. I have no problem. So just to clear what is the purpose of this video. So Fast Like a Girl, we discussed, it's super interesting book for anybody certainly that is interested into fasting, not only intermittent fasting, and it's taking it from the angle of women and how the natural cycle kind of influence how you would like how you should fast better. And well, in the beginning she explains the different lengths of fast. It's really not only about this classic like 15 hours fast, but she basically says at 17 hours what happens, at 24 hours what happened to your body. So even like longer fast, even like water fast of 3 days, what are the different benefits at each stage. I mean, the big benefit that she explains is the autophagy, which according to her starts at 17 hours. It's a natural recyclation of mitochondria. So the older mitochondria would die, and your body can be more efficient. And basically, the autophagy has its peak around a 3 days fast, which she considers very useful for certain sicknesses, for people recovering, and it's certainly an interesting area to look into. We discussed in the book club that at certain parts of the book it seems like she's talking about this happens at 17 hours, that she talks about it happening at 24 hours. So there is a slight discrepancy within the book, as we felt. I mean, I'm not going to really look into details, but we felt like it was a little bit confusing. Does it really happen at 17? Because then she talks about it at 24 hours, and we found it a little bit confusing. But overall, she breaks it down nicely. A big thing of the book, very interesting, is this graph. Where she shows the fluctuation of the major hormones throughout the cycle. Of course, the main hormones are estrogen and progesterone. Estrogen is more important, prominent in the first part of the cycle, and then progesterone is more important in the second part of the cycle. So she suggests in the first, when the hormones are lower, she calls it a power phase, and that's when it's the best to actually take advantage of longer fast. We have less cravings, so it's not as hard. And then also she suggests to eat what she calls ketobiotic foods. From what I understand, it's not like full keto diet kind of diet, but it's more like lower carb diet part, I mean, in the cycle. Then in the second phase, you can still, estrogen is getting higher. I remember you can still fast, but then the ovulation comes, and she suggests to do shorter fasts and include more what she calls hormone feasting foods, which are higher carb but high quality carbs, like pumpkin or sweet potato, stuff like that. And then phase 3 is again full power mode. You can fast longer, but the phase 3 is only like 5 days, and ketobiotic and fast, what she recommends. And then basically after the day 20 until the period, she suggests not to fast and go to hormone feasting foods, so higher in carbohydrates and so on. And in this way, I mean, a woman can benefit the most from her hormonal fluctuations, and it's and well, she suggests this kind of cycling. And then one last thing that we discussed is basically at the end of the book, she suggests certain protocols for how for women who have particular conditions and so on. Like really, like on day one, you should do 24 hours fast. Like really practically, she lays it down, and the fact is that the whole book kind of like leans towards the direction to just like do your first cycle cleanse, and in the club we found it a little bit overwhelming. Like you are supposed to do all this all at once, and how do you kind of like get going if you then you feel a little bit discouraged, like if you cannot do all of that. It seems like a lot of changes if you haven't done fasting or just a little bit, and include the ketobiotic foods, and you have to do the hormone-free food. It just seems like a lot of stuff. So of course we discussed that if somebody wants to follow it, a health coach would be very useful to kind of make a plan to get into it a little bit slower, maybe not everything at once, and find a good rhythm. But that was basically the only only thing that we were discussing, and a little bit of argument against was that it seems like too overwhelming all at the same time. Overall, it's a very interesting book. Certainly recommend. And and this is all. This is all we discussed. So maybe see you in the next book club.